The meeting. Only in Santa Barbara, among airports I have known and hated, can Gate 1 be so literal a description. Located outdoors at the south end of the terminal nearest to the baggage claim area, also outdoors, Gate 1 is precisely that, a 6-foot square of chain link material stretched across a frame of galvanized iron, allowing egress for departing passengers through the chain link fence separating the tarmac from the untrustworthy public. I and a small gaggle of my immediate family and close friends made up the bulk of that uncouth public clustered outside Gate 1 on the afternoon of April 11, 2008, eagerly watching a line of those passengers filing down the stairs on wheels for the just arrived U.S. Airways flight from Chicago by way of Phoenix. The last time so many bombs gathered together in this airport was 16 years ago to meet First Timothy, capital letters. I cracked in an attempt to lighten the tension, and now here we are about to lay eyes on Second Timothy, capital letters. I wasn't waxing biblical. My reference was not to the 15th and 16th books of the New Testament, but rather to my two sons-in-law, Tim Small and Tim Yaddo. Tim Small had proven to be a wonderful husband to my oldest daughter, Daphne, as well as a great father to their two children, now ages 11 and nearly 14. I appreciate him more each year, it seems. Tim Yaddo, on the other hand, was a largely unproven entity. True, he had married my youngest daughter, Katie, last August, but in a secret elopement in the Tennessee mountains, which allowed none of us to pre-approve him. In fact, this afternoon would be the first time any of us had laid eyes on him, even spoken to him. He and Katie were living in Chicago, struggling to get their new married lives started down the right path. We would not have been greeting Tim II even now, were it not for my wedding present to them, this trip west. All of us scanned each distant face as the disembarking passengers reached the ground and headed our way. I searched for Katie but could not locate her. What I did spot immediately, though, was Tim. I had never seen a person who looked so identical to his picture. I suppose being 29 years old, 6.5 feet tall, and virtually bald caused him to stand out a bit from the rest. I had told Katie that I would be meeting them at the airport. The rest of our bunch was a well-kept surprise, judging by the astonished and pleased looks on their faces as they approached and passed through the gate into the midst of our waiting shouts, grins, handshakes, and hugs. I chose the latter for my new son-in-law, burying my face in his belt buckle while I clapped him on the back, in the vicinity of his 9th and 10th ribs. "You're every bit as tall as your pictures," I managed inanely, "and about as bald," I finished, making my earliest words to him a complete embarrassment to us both. He didn't seem to be put off by it, though, being swept away in the greetings of the rest. They would be with us for 4 days, and from that initial high quality of our airport meeting, things just kept going up from there. It took us about 3 minutes to feel completely at ease with Tim. We quickly found ourselves impressed with his soft-spoken, retiring yet intelligent manner. He didn't speak excessively, yet when he did, we listened. And he always said something worth listening to. His attention to Katie and his caring manner with her touched our hearts. Each morning at my house, while I fixed my traditional cereal, fruit and nuts breakfast, Tim was at the stove preparing eggs, toast, and waffles for himself and Katie. He also took charge of dinner the one evening we had dinner at home, and was most helpful to Dottie on the evening we had pre-dinner snacks at her house before going to Piatti for our main meal. Dottie doesn't suffer fools, or most anyone else, in her kitchen gladly, so her acceptance of Tim was notable. The fact that he has a degree in culinary arts from North Carolina and is currently working as a caterer probably paved the way for that. I had rented a car for them while they were here, which made it easy on them and me. One afternoon they browsed through downtown Santa Barbara while I caught up on things at my house. Another half day, eager to visit the wine country, they did that on their own. I felt they might enjoy doing that as a twosome. But most of the time, we three, Katie, Tim, and I, were together. That included Saturday evenings spent at Bricks on Lower State Street, where my son Ed and his jazz trio regularly performed. The whole gang joined us for that one. Actually, they went on from there to take in the wider State Street scene until the wee hours. They, meaning all of the under 50s. Dottie and I took our leave about 10 p.m., letting the rest party out as late as they wanted. Then complete the night at my house, which I gratefully turned over to them. Victor, my good gray cat, was there to be sure they all behaved. Following their departure for Chicago on Tuesday, we all compared notes by email. The reviews were fulsome and enthusiastic. The verdict was predictably unanimous. Tim the second was in. Katie's rather precipitous decision and her good judgment were validated. And mine as well. I had been telling Katie ever since her 18th birthday that when and if she ever turned her thoughts to seeking a mate, she could not go wrong by looking for a guy with as many of my good qualities as she could find. He didn't have to have all of them. How could anyone hope for that? Just a modest handful. I guess she took my impeccable advice to heart. All of which leaves my final and middle daughter, Kim, still unattached. I know that she is very particular, and am not worried that she will settle for an inferior man. But I don't know if I can expect a third Timothy. The New Testament had only 2 such books. But that still leaves John and Peter and James. Lots of guys out there with those names. And if it comes down to that, maybe she will surprise us all with a Titus. Or could we dare hope a Philemon? That whole book has only 1 chapter, 25 meager verses. Kim could handle that with one hand tied behind her back.